Hello, it is 510 week 6. I think that's how we do it. Is that sign language for 6? I think it is. This week, another simple week, relatively. Not that anything is ever simple, right? Looking at leadership and school culture, and then something called the Kaizen initiatives. You have some reading about that. That's what the discussion board post is about that. The idea is it's not about big wins, it's about very small wins that accumulate over time. Think of compound interest, it's that, but for stuff you want to do, personally, professionally, school culture-wise, all the things. So that's basically what it is. There's a lot more to it, but when I try and explain it to someone like you, that is generally how I explain it. There's more readings, 3 more chapters from your book, blog post and video around Kaizen, continuous improvement, and then a TED Talk by the legendary coach John Wooden. And with that, when he talks about the difference between winning and succeeding, most of you could probably share this better than I could, but it's moving away from if we win, we're good, and if we lose the game, we're bad, and it's about character in a nutshell. The thing that I think a lot of people don't often talk about that I think is actually more applicable here is he talked about his non-negotiables. So what are the things he always did? It was like always be on time, no profanity, and never criticize teammates. And I love that idea of in our own leadership journeys as school educators, what are those non-negotiables? So much as like, oh yeah, Coach Wooden said, like, it's about character, not about winning. And so yes, but what are the things for you that like you must include? And so I've been thinking about that. Like, I knew I was going to talk with you about this. So I think one of mine that continues to show up whenever I'm leading any sort of professional learning, even presenting like at a conference where it's typically more sit and get, it's really like teacher agency. If you're in the room with me, you have some choice about how you do it, and you have space to try the thing. I think another thing is like, it ties in really well with this week. Like, it's about starting a thing that you don't have to finish a thing with me in our time together. Because so much I think about what people want to do as educators, it's the getting started part that I've noticed is really challenging for people. Oh, I'd love to do blah, 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 but I just, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't know how to get started. Some people will name the getting started part. Some people will just kind of, it's too much. But once you actually get started, it's like, all right, I can do the next step, right? I don't have to do the first step because the first step is with me. I can do the next step. So I think like the getting started but not finishing thing might be one of my non-negotiables, the choice and the agency, right? And I think those last two are similar, but again, for me, like the agency is like you're able to kind of come and go in and out of the meeting or the session or the conference, and you're able to kind of go the direction you want. And then like the choice is like, we don't always do the same thing at the same time. Sometimes we do. Sometimes I'm going to talk and you're going to listen, but often, and it's not lost on me, by the way, this is a video where all you ever get to do with me is listen, or just paste this into like a transcription service and like read the bullet points. But that like if we're in a room together, the room is the smartest person. It's not about the person in charge or the person learning. It's like, what can we all do? And I think that's part of the benefit of the discussion board posts. It's about the conversations with each other, because you likely will never be in the same course with the same people that you are right now. It might be similar, it might be almost the same, but someone's, it's always going to change a bit. And whoever's in that room is going to change those conversations. So the more we can leverage that, I think the better off we all are. And so I wonder for you, like part of the challenge, particularly listen to this pretty famous talk, is what are your non-negotiables? I think a lot of people aren't talking about that, and I think that that's actually the real genius of what he talks about that's often lost. The other part that, again, I think is a tangent to what we're talking about in week 6, but definitely shed some color, is how you show up as a leader. And one thing I would encourage you to check out, I just heard a weird sound there, sorry, is a book called The Coaching Habit. Again, like not directly related to the course, but tangential. And it's developing a coaching stance. And so part of leadership is almost being like best supporting actor, right? It doesn't have to be you in front talking. Sometimes it's that, but often it's you supporting people. And for me, I think a really powerful way is to show up as a coach. And even if, depending on where you're going in your career, if you have people reporting directly to you, if you're the direct supervisor, having that coaching stance where you're asking questions, uncovering things, and allowing them to have the insights is really, really powerful. And if you want to get started with that, in any relationship, the first question you ask is, what's on your mind? That's it. The second one, what else? And it sounds really simple, and it is, and that's the power of it. The power of it is not to jump in and save the day. If there's a simple answer and you know the simple answer, give the simple answer. But if it's a bigger problem that somebody's bringing up and you're their supervisor, or you're like, the administrator on site, asking questions like, what do you want? Is really powerful, particularly if it doesn't have to be a specific way. Allowing them to own that, and by owning that, you're being coach, you're being kind of best supporting actor. By the way, I might be doing a new podcast with a friend who's a tech director in Texas. We're talking about that, and like the whole idea of like supporting actor as leader, I think is really powerful and really underutilized. So anyway, those are two things that might be worth kind of checking out. Otherwise, do the readings, and happy week 6.